Welcome here for Punch Out Boxing. I'm here with Boxer's head honcho, Ben Shalom. Ben, you're the man who makes dreams come true for Chris Billam-Smith, for us fans, and I guess to some extent Lawrence. Stadium fight. Delighted?
Yeah, it is a dream. I mean, it was a dream to even fight in Bournemouth for Chris Billam-Smith. So to be here 3 fights later at the stadium for a world title, that's special. And it's a domestic one, and it's his old stable mate. Yeah, it's almost a pinch yourself moment from where we were at before he signed, fighting Isaac Chamberlain last July, and just seeing that atmosphere to now be here. Support from Bournemouth's been incredible. Oh, thank you to Joe Ashford as well, who helped us get this over the line in Bournemouth. But yeah, special moment.
When you get two stablemates or former stablemates, it can go two ways. Either familiarity breeds contempt and they'll just go at it, or they'll know each other so well they just neutralize each other. You're hoping for the former.
I've never seen Chris Billam-Smith in a boring fight. He only knows one way. Unfortunately for him, he knows exactly what he's going to have to do. And Lawrence knows exactly who he's fighting. I think Shane McGuigan, there's probably no one in boxing that knows Lawrence Okoli better than Shane McGuigan. The guy that he's helped win a world title, he's now looking to take it away from him. That makes for a special night and a special story. And for me, Chris is going to have to jump all over him. And that's what Chris does best. I think it's got a fight written all over it. Some fights just sell themselves. This has a storyline. It's two British guys. We don't see British world titles too much. So to get one in a stadium like this, and fair play to Lawrence, because whenever do you see a mandatory champion, whenever do you see a champion take a voluntary in someone else's backyard in a stadium? That's a brave thing to do, especially after 7 weeks after his last fight. No, not especially the fact that they were training with each other 6 months ago. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Shane McGuigan knows Lawrence Okoli, as I say, better than any other person in boxing. So brave for Lawrence to do that. Shane, it came from the Billam-Smith camp. The ones that wanted this fight, they wanted their world title opportunity, and they thought in the end the domestic one was going to sell the most, and they felt confident with it. But yeah, it is weird. I'm sure it's weird for both of them, but it's exciting because I think people see this as a genuine 50-50. Chris Billam-Smith with that crowd behind him is a force to be reckoned with and is someone that's going to jump all over Lawrence. Luckily, not for me. We have a great event team and they're incredible. So yeah, they've been at it for a few since last year. Actually, speaking to Bournemouth about this possibility, first event Bournemouth have ever done outside of the football as well. So it's a new experience for everyone. Incredible that we got here. It's been a lot of hurdles and yeah, for Billam-Smith, dream to fight for a world title in a stadium. I mean, what more?
Main event, Isaac Chamberlain versus Lawal. Brilliant fight. Could be a main event in London itself. How come it was brought to Bournemouth rather than headlining in London on the Azim card?
Isaac Chamberlain has a lot of relevance in this fight. He's fought Lawrence Okoli, lost for many, for his, he'll have his own reasons for that. Fought Chris Miller-Smith on a whim, no notice whatsoever. For us, the cruiserweight division is very, very important. Rich Riatpur as well. This is just a big fight. Isaac Chamberlain's been down to Bournemouth. The fans remember him. We wanted a big, big chief support for this that fans can look forward to. Mikel Lawal is desperate to be considered up there with the Lawrences, the Richards, and the Chris's. It's his moment as well. It's Isaac's moment to jump straight back in. Makes perfect sense. And yeah, what a division we got.
The winner of Lawal versus Isaac could then potentially maybe be a fight or two away from fighting for the world title between the two main eventers.
I believe so. I think they've all got a chance, and that's why it's great having everyone under one banner. There's no politics. It's so easy to do. We don't even have to put in any sort of clauses. The fights will come around, and we'll make the fan fights that we think the fans want to see. And this was the one that we thought would catch people by surprise. You'd think so. Slightly embarrassed and baffled to find out via social media. We contract with BARDA. BARDA, a private organisation, and did the most rigorous testing we've ever done for any fight was that fight. It was ridiculous. They were tested out in Colorado, George Ventura, where Kel was training as well. Back at home, fight week, fight night. But UCAD to not be notified until this, you'll have to ask them. I did call Robert Smith straight away and said, "Did you know about this?" And he said, "I found out yesterday." So what is going on in terms of communication? For me, it doesn't matter what the intention is, what the trace is. It's a strict liability thing. Clearly, not finding out shows that sometimes it's just chaotic in what's going on. There has to be a uniform body. There has to be a world body. It's chaos. So as a promoter to find out in this way, it is embarrassing. But as I say, people might not believe us. Well, go and ask UCAD, go and ask the board. We had no idea until finding out on social media.
The test. Did he not even sort of enlighten you at all? Because there was talk about a rematch.
And that's what's dangerous, I guess, because we were looking at another fight for AMIR, but it's not for me. Who's to tell me? I'm bored. UCAD. Clearly, we've got sport got away with one because maybe they'd have notified us if he was fighting. I don't know. Please, we're going to be asking UCAD for reasons. I'm sure there are reasons. I don't know. All I can say is, I assure you, we found out on social media just today.
Okay, with regard to obviously this sort of failed test that's happened now, or this adverse finding, do you think there's now a bigger issue in terms of the testing with the fact that, you know, the kind of event thing took 5 weeks or whatever before it had any conclusion of preference? This one over a year before you find out anything. Does that make you more weary about even doing the testing or what's going on when these testing are taking place?
What it makes me realise is all the testing should be under one body. We shouldn't be going to VAR, the board shouldn't be going to UCAD. Unify the whole thing. Rigorous testing, mandatory testing for all big fights across jurisdiction, worldwide, no loopholes, complete transparency, everyone sees it. I mean, how can we even be asking that 2023? It's just obvious, it's just simple. Every other sport has it. Everyone needs to get together and completely rip this up. There's a lot of things wrong in boxing. That's probably top of the list. And anyone that argues otherwise and thinks that things should go ahead and when processes haven't been followed, I find that hard. I don't understand how anyone can't agree with what I'm saying right now. I called Robert Smith this morning, as I say, he said he found out yesterday. Other than that, no.
Next fight for Raptor, what will that look like?
I think it'll be a world title. And yeah, I don't want to reveal it because it's obvious what the options are. But he's got a massive year, and we'll obviously find the winner of this at some point as well this year. So yeah, he's got a special 12 months coming up.
Can you just inform us, what is the latest with TASHA, JONAS and Chris Shields? Of course, an offer was made, was also turned down. Where are you at the latest with that?
SAVANNAH Marshall has got a huge fight that we'll announce in the next few days. Absolute monster. And Clarissa Shields, I think, is fighting in the US next. And then Tasha Jonas, I think, will be fighting in May or June. But the Jonas Shields fight, I've said it, as I said, we were waiting. We had the rematch for that. He's not allowed to fight anyone else. It's a bit of a pantomime at the moment, but as I say, rematch clause was activated, not put in by us, not requested by us, not demanded by us, but demanded to us. Oh, that's what we have to do. So yeah, what can I do except expect that fight to happen in May or June?
Foley and billam-smith real quick. So, is there any concern from you with the turnaround time that Lawrence is taking this fight? Even though he didn't particularly take much damage in the previous one, it's still, you know, short recovery, back into a training camp. Do you feel that might undermine his performance or make him maybe a bit weaker? Does that play into Chris's hands more? Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, the old heavyweights used to fight every week, so hopefully we can get back to fighting regularly. Hopefully it does. This is what makes this fight so interesting. Lawrence is taking it on 7 weeks. He's going to the stadium. He's defending his world title on a voluntary. Billam-Smith knows him inside out. Shane McGuigan knows him inside out. It's just another factor. And no, it doesn't make me nervous. Lawrence wants to get straight back in there. Now he's got the ring rust off and get himself in a big fight and prove to people why he's the best cruiserweight in the world. Is it a Queensbury show or something?
Yeah, you're right. It's all right. It's all BT.
It's not ideal. I would have preferred to avoid it. We did announce Chris Billam-Smith in the stadium a while back. But I do have to remind people there was a day when there was only one channel showing boxing. And so to have this level of competition for the fighters is truly incredible. And the fighters are the ones winning. When we can't give them an opportunity, they can go elsewhere. When someone else can't get an opportunity somewhere else, they can come here. That's a healthy sport. Yes, we should be class. I'd be up for a mediator, no problem. Get us all in a room every month and say, right, who's going where. Back in the day, you actually couldn't go on the same night as another promoter. That was something that the board put in place. So it's not going to be possible that, but definitely open for proper open dialogue on that. Because as a fan, you want to be able to see every fight. But I would remind people it's better that the sport's in this position than struggling for events.
AJ come back the other night. Boxing fan would make the fight, and people like Simon saying he's not wanting to take risks anymore to get knockouts and things like that.
I think for me, it was nostalgic to see AJ back in. I thought in the week he looked confident and looked himself, and it was good to see. I think he's done so much for the sport, which is great. I don't think he showed himself to be back to his best. He'll know that. But if he can get back to his best, I think we all hope he does, because he was a phenomenon and a powerful man for the sport. But yeah, it was obviously a disappointing performance, and but he'll, as in it is how he'll see it. But yeah, I'd love to see AJ back to his best.
On the cut heels, when Fraser Clark's cut heels, what would you like next for? Is the Fabio Wardy fight one that you would like to make?
Yeah, for me, if Fabio Warley's got the British title in the next one or two fights, then that'll be the fight we want to make. He needs to fight for the British this year. Happy with his development, happy he's fighting regularly, not getting the rounds that we always want. So I hope he fights on May 6th. If not, he'll be fighting in June. And then, I'll be looking for that fight.
Then, of course, Jack Carroll has left boxing, gone over to match him. Few words on that, why I still couldn't be reached to keep him on boxer.
Just because we've signed him for the Josh Taylor fight, if I'm honest, that was the fight that our broadcaster was interested in. We have to prioritise the fighters that our broadcaster is focused on. And when that fell through, it is Jack and myself who have a lot of respect for each other. I know him, and we were actually before that happening wanting him to go and fight for another promoter against Prograde. We need him to get the fight, and I cannot say enough. I'm absolutely delighted that someone's been able to give him an opportunity of activity, of good money, and opportunity. Why would I begrudge that? Why would anyone try and cause anything? If we can't offer something, and we couldn't really, if I'm honest, other than Josh Taylor, there's only so many fighters that we can prioritize. The fighters that we are promoting are fighting 3, 4, 5 times a year. It's a limited thing, and we have to focus on who we've committed to. For Jack, when the Taylor fight fell out, which it shouldn't have, caused us a lot of problems. And as I say, over the moon that he's managed to be active and can get some money. And I really hope that he achieves his world title ambition, which he should have achieved last year.
Okay, thanks.